Welcome to Cat the Minion YouTube channel. My name is Theresa, but you can call me Cat. Hopefully you can hear me alright over the whine of the necessary air conditioning. Now I know the back piles are a little out of focus, but I've got it kind of in between right now. This is the weekend pick-a pile, and this week there's going to be 4 piles. So I have this Steampunk Cat pin here. We have a Trivial Pursuit pie. We have the Magic Mushroom in its second appearance. And this pony here who's like a crystal snow globe situation. I think its name is Diamond Mint. Doesn't have enough water in it to really shake those glitter around, but you get the general idea. Come on. Snow globe. Okay. So, based on what these piles have sitting on them, I would expect this to have something to do with emotions, or possibly the throat and the third eye. This one I would expect to have to do possibly with the throat chakra, but I feel like it's more to do with the crown. This I feel like would have to do more with balance. Or some kind of something in the collective of pieces coming together. And this I would think would be it's sort of like kind of like rewriting history in a certain way. I feel like that's the vibe I'm getting from this. Sort of like futuristic, historical futuristic kind of thing, like shifting timelines. And I'm not sure if those will follow through with the cards, but we'll see what happens. So the decks that I'm using for these piles, and not... I think they all have one of these in them, the Bradley Valentine Angel Tarot, but typically they don't all have the same cards in them or number of cards. But I'm using that one. I'm using the Gilded Lenormand, my music deck that I made for my shelf. Dreams of Gaia Tarot, the Blessed Bee deck. This is by Lucy Cavendish. This is my double deck of playing cards. So I've got Tim Burton cards and historical fashion cards all stacked up together. The Thoth deck. The huge. And last but not least, the Wild Unknown Tarot. This is the first one that I bought for myself. Apparently tooting my own horn. The peanut gallery outside there. Ooh, I just remembered there's something I'm supposed to do. Okay, I know what it's for. It's for a reading that I haven't done yet. Okay, so again, pick your piles. So we have Diamond Mint Pony. Pretty sure that's what her name is. Trivial Pursuit pie. I don't know, I just decided on the green one instead of one of the other ones. And Steampunk Cat pin. Just show you the back real quick. I feel like some of the flat charms that people use in their, other readers use in their videos look a lot like this. And then the glass mushroom. It says Viking on it. I don't know if that helps anybody decide. Handmade Viking glass mushroom that I found. It's probably from the 70s. It looks like an eyeball at that angle. There we go. Alright. So choose your pile, and let me go ahead and figure out where I'm going to start here. It's one of these two. Okay, I just heard Trivial Pursuit screamed in my ear a little bit, so we'll start with that one. separate these out a little bit. That's what they want. They want to be separated. Okay. Alright, this is an oracle card. Let me stick this one over here last. Okay. Oh, there's two of these. Okay. So we have the Ace of Water. Let's see if that comes in focus any better at all. Nope. Nope. Okay, I guess that's pretty good right there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so the Ace of Water, it says, falling in love or the resurgence of relationships, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, a new home. The Ace of Water, the Ace of Cups, is the season of fall and water as a whole. Five of Cups. So we have more Cups energy, and we have Mars in Scorpio. So that's where this friction energy comes from, of this sort. And I'm getting duplicitous here because there's these two figures and they're sort of facing off, and I just heard tete-a-tete. Five of Cups is the, like, you've hurt me, wounded heart kind of essence. Son of Wands. This is the Knight of Wands. So I do have a strong sense of Kundalini energy here and the solar center expanding. This is quite interesting because we have this emotional conflict, but we have these other two cards that are actually quite stellar. So we have, I see 1 and I see 12, that's 13. If this was a 1, I'd have 11. So there's a timing element here and some kind of death rebirth cycle, right? It's like the Ace of Water is giving this like emotional truth via Scorpio, which is death, and then comes back out with this 13 total, indicating a re-emergence from the solar center. So it's like I feel like this merman here is diving down for treasure in his own self and going through the heart chakra into his core of who he is. And now I'm just saying he because the figures on the cards are masculine. Because what's interesting is that the people on this card is feminine. And I did say balance or coming together here. So what I think is happening is that and I think I said this in my ancestral thing with Leo as a sample, that there's a long-awaited balance between masculine and feminine energies, where feminine energy was relegated to, you know, other, to secret, because I do see total of 18 here, which is the moon, which is saying that there's something in the emotions that was tormenting perhaps for a long time, with this feeling of being pushed down and unable to fully express power center in the self and emotional content. So here we have a 10, it's inverted, so we have 10 of Earth. So we have a feminine figure grounding, like tied to the earth. This is very much looking like the Queen of Pentacles out on a walk. That's how I see her. It looks like, what is she holding? Oh, it's a little baby dragon. Okay, but she does have a mask in her other hand. Trash panda mask. Looked like a fur coat, but I think it's just brown. So she's coming inverted. 10 of Pentacles. And it's kind of reminds me how the 9 of Pentacles usually has a feminine character on it. It's like there's a number shift of 1. When I see 10 and then I see 11, like 10, 11, 12. So there's some kind of progression here happening. But notice how all these feminine energies are in like a struggle position, because the 5 of Cups upright is tense. And then 10, tens, and I'm also hearing tense, like a dwelling. The winter of our discount tents. And I also see a doubling here. 5 times 2 there is the 10. So 10 of Earth, Mercury in Virgo. So it's the ruling sign, and Mercury's going retrograde, so I think this is kind of indicating that this feminine energy is deep underground, and Mercury retrograde is going to help facilitate this opening of the feminine energy. And it could be, if you're a feminine, you've been kind of stalled out for a while, and your emotions have been kind of all over the place, and you've been sort of like robotic and analytical and trying to avoid feeling anything, while also kind of struggling to have your core power activating. It's like operating with a bum leg, kind of like outside of the normal energy. But if you're a masculine person, it could mean that your inner feminine is finally going to be activated to help you move into that power center of yourself. All right. So we have the star, Archangel Jophiel. Happy times, make positive, optimistic, long-term plans on the right path. Okay, so here we have Aquarius energy, air and water. So we do have this like higher self, angelic realm coming in to sort of light the way, like this light up here, and with this connection from the base of yourself to the very highest point of yourself. Let's see, these wings up here, sort of similar to this portal, just kind of giving reassurance and saying like there's hope after death here, kind of transformation. And this blessing card here is a blessing on your day, number 5. So here I see this as being a synthesis of these two cards, right? If we take this 10 and break it in half, we have this wounding, and then we have the healing, and then we have this card as a unity. And we do see devil energy here as this sort of heavy underground task that has to be accomplished, because I see 15 here, but I also see 20, which is judgment, which is fire energy, fire like this, which is indicating, oh, and also Pluto energy, which rules Scorpio, which again brings that death, transition, rebirth cycle. So what I see here is this transition from pain and being deep underground to this idea of a pivot, number 5, saying a blessing on your day. So you have this emotional truth, and now we have this grounding, and it's like, oh, I'm out in the sunlight now after being underground for so long. Everything feels really great. And we see this feminine energy with the heart chakra allowing to be in the truth of the feelings, and then we see this winged energy here to know that we've reached these higher we've connected to our higher self and let this energy out. So I see these two here together, 12 and 5, as equaling this star here, this happy times, the masculine and the feminine energy working together. Now I do also see 17 here as being this 10, this completion, followed by the chariot, which is moving forward. And the chariot is the masculine and the feminine energy working together. So we have this half here and this half here, and they're rolling forward. And what is this but a wheel, like a chariot wheel rolling forward? It's a side view because there's supposed to be 2 of these coming in together. Okay, so that is the Trivial Pursuit pile. In the not so trivial pursuit of opening your heart chakra completely in both energies. Okay? Alright. So let's... I was going to do the cat next, but the pony is looking at me. So we have Diamond, mint, crystal pony. Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna make it even here. Okay. Shake her up a little bit more. There's almost like too much glitter per the amount of fluid that's in there. Okay. So let's, okay, so I do have this blessing card, so I will do that last. Let's see what we have here. We have King of Fire. Motivational, idealistic, ambitious, charismatic. He's riding a big honkin' dragon here. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision and be a leader. Advice from someone creative. Alright. King of Fire energy. King of Wands. We have Cancer and Leo energy. We have air and fire. Alright. We have the Tower inverted. Let me hold this upright for a second. So this is more fire energy. Oh my god, I can't even hold on to it. This is like, this card reminds me of Guernica. Like Picasso's Guernica. Although that was black and white and this has orange in it. But still, this is what it reminds me of. So if you don't know what that is, go look it up. Oh, I don't have a writing implement. Pablo Picasso, G-U-E-R-I... Wait, no. G-U-E-R-N-I-C-A. There we go. I can see it, but it's hard for me to say the words, the letters. Okay, so the Tower inverted. So this one indicates Mars energy, but that's fine. That would be Aries. Okay, yeah, it's Mars. Okay, so fire in general, but specifically Mars. And this one is Leo. I keep hearing in my head to repeatedly say the word Martian. Okay, so Martian. Martian, Martian, Martian. Notice how this eye is down here like a huge portal. I just heard see the error of your ways. Now the king can be a 1 or a 14 and the tower is 16. And this breaks down to a 7. And 7 invert specifically tells me there's imbalance. Because 14 is balance. It's like something is unsettling to the king. And I kind of feel like this thing here reminds me of this dragon upside down, even though the shape isn't exactly the same, but this looks like a dragon spewing fire. So it's like 7, the chariot is out of control. This dragon somehow got angry, which is interesting. Your mount is trying to unsettle you. Upsot. So these other cards, we have Daughter of Cups and Ace of Cups, which is very interesting because there's Cancerian energy here, which is Cups, water element. Okay, so Daughter of Cups is Princess of Cups, and then the Ace of Cups is that, like, truth energy, which is fall and water energy. Look at all these chakras here flowing out. Sort of coasting along the water. This young swan here. We see the imprint of the Ace of Cups here. So these can both be 1s, but the daughter is the same as the page, so that could also be 11. So I see 11, 12... a little bit of hangman energy, perhaps. Perhaps, but not necessarily. But there's like a timing to opening up the energy. But I see fall energy, and I see the tower upside down. So I see the tower falling, but it's not necessarily exploding in an extremely violent manner. It's like a controlled collapse. And the king, if it's a 14, that's the balance number, but he's also got 5, which is a pivot. But I see 1, 1, 1, that's 3, which would be the Empress. But then the 7 here from the towers would be some kind of cycle being completed here. All right, so the Daughter of Cups here, the page, is also fall energy and earth. So the daughter energy here is also fall energy with earth of water. So there's this energy of needing to like the tower sinking into the ground to reestablish the foundation in a way. Because notice how the root of 16 is 4, which is foundational number, and then king would be 10, and 4 would be like completion and foundation in that sense. But the way that I see this is like internal combustion. Like the king is sort of balanced in his like machismo, bravado, functional. He's like balanced in the way that he moves, but the fire can very easily get out of hand if there isn't anything to anchor it, which is where that grounding energy comes in. It's not literal fire dynamics, but any energy that you're operating in, even if you think you're balanced, it could very easily overpower you if you're not balanced, if you have no other energy to fall back in, right? It's like if there was a famine, right? If there's a potato famine and you haven't grown anything else, you're gonna starve. So if this fire gets out of control, the king needs other like magic weapons to fall back on. So there's this idea of like spontaneous internal combustion that's bringing him down into this emotional content, where he's aligning all of his chakras so that he has access to all of these energies. This sort of fall, the tower falling like within, right? It's not external because it's inverted. So we have this like new, like he's new to dealing with emotions, but he's gonna be all right because he's got the ace. Look at this little fire coming up out of the top. Okay, so I see blue, I see water, and I see purple. So I do sense that in the purple over here on the dragon. So there's this idea that letting all this fire flow up into the crown because of accessing the next stepping stone here, the heart center. So we have, what do we got? She's upside down here. 37. A blessing for unity where there was once division. Okay, so we have a female character with a bunny here. So to me, this says the Empress. And I did see this as 111 as being potential Empress background. So we have this nurturing idea. The king is nurturing himself, but I also see 3 and 7. I see movement, I see 10, I see completion. But she's coming inverted, and I do see this moon here. So I see something as going underground into the emotions where the nurturing is, where the inner feminine energy is. And because the moon here is now inverted, I see this as illumination as the sun is going to come out, which brings it back to this fire energy of Leo. But then we also have Cancer, the moon. So this is just a rebalancing for further development of energies and stability, right? There's a clarity in oneself with all these different elements inside, because those are, I see a lot of red and yellow in there, leading to better understanding here of the higher chakras, allowing that energy flow throughout the body. Again, to weather more storms, you can't approach every problem with fire. Okay, so let me get on to the next pile here. I'm going to do... My intuition wanted to do this one first, but it's like pushing me to wait on it. So I'm going to do the mushroom. Shroom. Mushroom. Glass shroom. Blue shroom. Alice and the White Rabbit there, the caterpillar. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. I don't see any oracle cards in this pile. Alright, so I've got the Ace of Swords inverted. This is Welcome to the Show, Adam Lambert featuring Lale. I think that's how her name is pronounced. So this card, it's like the masculine and the feminine energies merging together. And there's a lot of blue and a lot of red. So it's like a, to do with the root and with the throat in some sense. But here, the Ace of Swords, that communication is inverted. And I think a lot of this has to do with Mercury going to be in retrograde and Venus. Right, Virgo being Mercury, and then Taurus and Libra being Venus. So the way I see this is Virgo and Libra. Communication out of balance, largely relating to feminine energy. But we notice we have swords. We have the masculine suit here, like a separation that hasn't come together yet, or announcing that that's what the root problem is that there's been a separation. And I'm seeing this a lot in the readings I've been doing for the last 2 days. There's masculine and feminine energies trying to meet, or it has to do with fire energy and water energy. So it's like the theme of the week is temperance, no matter what symbols or cards are being pulled. But let's see what the rest of these are. So I have happiness inverted, 9 of Cups. So we have Jupiter in Pisces. So as I was saying, fire and water, but this is inverted. There's a very obscure movie from, I want to say 1971, but I might be off a little bit. It's got Peter Sellers and Goldie Hawn in it, and it's called There's a Girl in My Soup. And there's a scene in it where they're traveling around in France because he's going to a wine tasting, and she's gone with him as his like new girlfriend, and she fakes that they've gotten married by putting confetti in his wallet. So when he goes to check into the hotel with his credit card or whatever they had in the 70s, they're like, oh, you've just been married, and they put him in the bridal suite, and the guy comes up to them and he goes, we all hope you have a penis all your life. And it's really funny because obviously it sounds like penis. So the point to that was just that it was funny, and that's what this card reminded me of. But if you have any interest in kind of a noir comedy, I recommend that because it's really funny, if you can find that movie. It's called There's a Girl in My Soup. Alright, so back to the card here. Jupiter in Pisces. So there's this idea of like luck versus intuition. You know, it's like, are you reading the cards, or were you just lucky? Did you psychically intuit which cup the ball was under, or were you like shark watching the guy moving the stuff? That's what I'm getting here. But I also see disappointment, and I see this as like half the moon, as like a nightmare kind of a card instead of a dream card. So 9 of Cups. Oh yeah, I already said that. Jupiter and Pisces. Okay. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Ace of Swords is winter and air. So again, I always say the winter of our discontent when I see that stuff. And I do see a 10 here inverted, which is completion. So if 10 Cups inverted is like completely unhappy, but then I also see 10 Swords inverted, which means I'm turning over the table of you stabbing me in the back. So I see that as happening at the same time. Like, unhappiness caused by this separation and, you know, who's throwing the first dagger, leading to this cascade of crappiness. All right, inverted happiness equals crappiness. Put that on a t-shirt. All right, so let's do these two Lenormand cards at once. So we have the woman inverted. This is the alternate one where she's all sexy like. So we have 2 and 29 here, which makes me think of 911. So we have perhaps an emergency. Now notice that we have the Ace of Swords on here, and when it's upside down, it's inverted. But I also see Venus on here, which is the Empress, and also Libra. So this is kind of reiterating what's going on here. Emergency, feminine, displeased. And I also just heard that like happy wife, happy life thing. Might not be like literal, but also look at this 12, so that breaks down to a 3. So have these owls coming in with this intuitive information. I see 7 of Pentacles here, so that's patience and waiting for like your garden to grow, knowing that you'd planted the seeds. We have the moon energy here, and then we also have this Empress energy with the 3 there. But I also see a little bit of Hanged Man as well. All right, so there's information being divined by the feminine energy relating to growing out of this pain phase, right? Growing, grounding and growing, planting a seed. The seeds of happiness are somehow being built into this pile of shit here, which if you're a mushroom is ideal. 9 and 3 is 12 again. What was I going to say? I was going somewhere with that too, and I totally spaced it. Oh, 7 of Pentacles. What's my energy? Saturn and Taurus. Okay, which is good because this is also Taurus. And then there's this idea. Oh, I know what I was going to say. There's this. Why was I going to say the Tower? Oh, 7 and 9 is 16. That's. Wait, no. Why is that 7? What the hell? 3. I'm confused. I thought I saw the Tower. Let me figure this out. Hold on. 29. It's 31. Right, no. What the hell? Okay. Why am I suddenly unable to do math? I took calculus in high school. This is stupid. 9 and 2 is 11, which breaks back down to 2. Which I should have known already. 2 and 5, 5 and 6, 6 and 9 is 15. So that's where that Saturn energy is coming from, the devil. So I don't know why I'm thinking there's a tower, but we'll see. That was really dumb. Okay, so we're at 5. These together 5. And then we have another 5 here. 5 brings a pivot, a shift. So here we have the combat. This is separation and the unhappiness. This is what's going on between the masculine and the feminine energies. And here they're both appearing in masculine energy, which is probably why the feminine is feeling like she is like doesn't even exist and is unable to communicate her truth. 5 of Wands energy, Saturn in Leo. So it's like bringing the struggle to light, right? This sort of mental conflict is having daylight brought upon it. I don't want to fight you at your level if you're going to be low vibration. You're tearing me apart! Okay. So then we have the 7 of Earth again, which came out over, where the hell was it? With the owls. It says, seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action and unnecessary worry. So here we have 14 potentially with trying to balance in Pentacles. So it's like in manifestation trying to balance. And this other card here, we have Strength inverted. Now in this deck it's 11. It's normally 8. But this is Leo energy. Archangel Ariel. Great inner strength, release harsh judgments, forgiveness, and compassion. Alright. So here, it's like after all of this combat in Leo, there's a struggle to forgive what's been happening, especially if it keeps cropping up repeatedly. But I do see 11 here as timing, and it goes back to the Libra energy. And then when we saw balance with 7 and 7 being 14. So the issue here is like there's an open, I just heard open wound. There's like an open wound between masculine and feminine energy, and the only thing that's really indicating that anything's going to change is these owls coming in with this moon energy saying you need to go down, like go deep, go down into the roots. Like it's almost like replanting the seed, but it's like it needs to be repotted. There isn't enough room between them. It's like the overlap and it's too small of a space, right? There's not enough room at a low vibration for both entities, both types of energy to be able to flow. So what's happening is that there's a call to expand, to grow, but the whole masculine energy, feminine energy system needs to be repotted. There needs to be more grounding so the roots of this like tree unit of masculine, feminine can expand. And that's it's saying like it's time, but there's like a weakness. It's like there's a fungus in the plant, right? It's like and it's weird that there's like no solution being offered here, but I think it's hanging in the balance a little bit because there's something important going to be happening in Mercury retrograde while Venus is retrograde, and it hasn't happened yet. We need a couple more weeks to start to see where this energy is going. All right, so I don't like having unanswered questions in my readings, but this is what this is. So if you're on the mushroom here, it's gonna be a little bit of a trip, there's a little Viking ship on that sticker, so hold on to your barf bags and make sure your life raft is attached to the side because it's gonna be a minute. Alright, so we'll do the Steampunk Cat here in a second. Alright, so I have this pile here, this little Steampunk Cat pin. It's probably some kind of cartoon character that I'm not aware of. I think somebody gave this to me. What does that say? Think Geek Pins 2017. Alright, that's what it says on it. I have any oracle cards here? I do not. Alright. This way. Okay. Alright, so we have the Three of Pentacles, which brings in Mars in Capricorn energy. Okay, so usually this card is about working with other people, and the Mars energy brings in this idea of negotiations and sort of figuring out what other people's wants and needs are, and coming to a compromise in a certain way and planning. But notice how this figure is looking the other way, which is kind of interesting. The Princess of Discs. Okay, so we have more pentacles here. So this energy is spring with Earth of Earth. This is the page. And even so, I feel like this card gives me the essence of winter. This feminine figure looks like she's dressed for winter, but look at her little flower thing. It's got a yin-yang in the center there. So for me, that would represent the seed. That's spring energy. And then she has ram's horns on here, which gives me this idea of Aries, which again indicates to me spring. Alright, so we have seeds planted. Somebody's shooting off fireworks outside, so you might be able to hear some of that. This is a 1 or an 11. So I do see 4, I see 13, and I see 14 here as well. So annoying, okay. Normand here. Okay, so 22, this is a choice, I believe. I'd have to check the book, but I'm pretty sure it's a choice. We're just going to say that's what it is. Look at here, the Queen of Pentacles indicated on the card. And we have 11 twice, so that's 22. So I almost see, and I see this as a zipper kind of being undone as well, but I also see this as a 13 for the Queen as a death cycle, but I also see it as a 1, so we have, I also see this as like a 16 as like a tower moment. But also I see this again as like a zipper being undone. So I'm getting a sense of DNA as well, as like when seeds are pollinated and when eggs are fertilized, what happens is that like with meiosis and mitosis, the chromosomes and like in the DNA unzip, and then they attach to the other ones and like zip back together. So that's not a very good explanation, but it's in general what happens, like cell replication. We have the 6 of Cups inverted. Let's see, so here's these roots of this new seed. But the 6 of Cups is the Sun in Scorpio. But here it's inverted, so I feel like there's moon energy. Notice 3 times 6 is 18, which is the moon. This tree is underwater and the roots are in the air. It's like, I also get this idea of being unzipped, because notice how this looks sort of together and then it's like an undoing, and it's all like the little fibers of it coming apart. What do we got here? And my battery's getting low. So we have the Mother, which is logical because there's a lot of feminine nurturing energy here. The Mother inverted. So this is number 4. Okay, so this is a major arcana, and this is where the Empress type would fall in this energy. So we see this ramping up or ramping down because I have a princess and then a queen inverted and then this Empress figure inverted, but she's very green and looking a lot like a pentacle. Like a pentacle element. So let me stick this here. And last card is the 3 of Fire. So I feel like these go together. Abundance. Things look very good. Have patience at this time. Make long-term plans. And then there's a dragon here. So I feel like this is actually similar. I just have to make sure I know which reading I'm talking about. I think it was... It might have been the first one. Where am I going here? I think it was the pony reading that started out with the King of Fire. It is similar essence, but here it's like we're not even talking about the masculine energy. We're specifically talking about feminine energy. All of the cards here in this cat thing are feminine, basically. So what's happening here? So we have Venus energy with this Emperor and number 4. I have a Queen inverted, 13 or 4. and I have 6 inverted. So I potentially have 10 inverted, which would be some kind of unhappiness. And I see 6, but it's broken in half. So this is the unzipping, right? The unzipping of these choices, it's breaking it down into from 6 in unzipping it into 3 and 3. So 3 of fire is the sun in Aries, and 3 of pentacles is Mars in Capricorn. So Mars and Aries are essentially the same thing. So what's being filtered out is the Sun or Saturn, or Leo and Capricorn. I feel like I want to find out what this card says in the book, because I don't recall exactly, but it's like, again, it's this idea of one thing and the other thing. It's a splitting. Let me sit with this for a minute and see what's going on. Okay. So I did indicate when I looked at this pin to begin with that there is an idea of a shifting of realities, of futuristic history. So I see, it's really annoying with those fireworks going off. So I see the 3 of fire, and I see 2 figures, and they're both seated. And I see 2 figures here. And this kind of looks like the tower in the background. It's like looking back upon something that's disappearing or decaying. Alright, my battery died, so I had to get the other one. So I did check in the book here real quick, because I'm still very new to Lenormand in general. And it is the choice, and it has to do with you can't do both, you can only do one or the other, and this sort of idea of infinite possibilities. So to me, I would say that what I said originally when I picked this up, that might have to do with changing timelines, is that there's kind of infinite possibilities in what we do with our life, and this idea of unzipping the DNA and then recombining it has to do with like creating a new paradigm and a new world out of something that was already existing, but it's being done in a new way and coming up differently. And the idea of a queen inverted here with this death cycle is there's a transformation in the way that things are manifested, so that she's got kind of a portal behind her, and her chair looks like there's a portal. Let's see if I can focus it more at this. Okay, here we go. That's better, because that's how I feel like holding them. Okay, so seated figures all around, and it's like we're looking at something that's old, that's it's like buried in the sands of time, this idea of feminine energy working through masculine means, I think, because here we have feminine energy and here we have masculine energy, right, in terms of the suits. But here it's like you're supposed to work together, but someone's sitting it out. And here it's like we're looking back on everything we know being destroyed, but we're working together. And I think that's what's happening here. And notice this one, it says specifically abundance on it. This one is like blueprints, right? We're changing the layout of the building. But here it's like we're not even in the building anymore. We're like fucked off into nature and we're doing something completely different. We're not we're not putting a new coat of paint on it. We're creating something entirely new. And I don't know why that this pile has been so difficult for me to read. but I think that's where it's going. Now the Three of Wands is usually that like hope for the future card. So I think that it's indicating that there's a new horizon with this reformation and upgrade of what's happening with feminine energy. I don't think these being inverted is particularly bad, because notice like 13, 1 and 3, that's 4. And here we have directly, we have a 4. So I think that this being a number 4 isn't necessarily bad. It's saying transformation on a high level and then transformation on the highest level. So it's an overhaul of the entire system is what's happening here. You're going to be completely separating out from this old structure. Like you're turning your back on it and looking towards the destruction of something that hasn't served, something that's dying, and then there's this rebirth of creative, nurturing energy that's going to bring in something new, which is why this is at a page level, right? Look how fiery this is. There's a lot of solar energy because of all that yellow, and this looks like a sun disk to some extent. So these cards really are the ones that are together. We have 11 and 3, that's 14, that's balance. So this is really the pinnacle of what's going on here, is a complete paradigm shift to reality. Okay. Steampunk Kitty. All right. So if you want to get a reading for yourself, the complete list of readings that I offer, hold on to your stomachs, is going to be in the description box of my infomercial video, which is linked below this one. Or you can email me, thecatcameback@camp@gmail.com. If you want to donate to the channel, contribute to any ongoing projects I have, and to help support future content, that's paypal.me/cattheminion, and I also have Cash App and Venmo. I have actual art, some art pieces available in this catalog. Some are made to order, some are a la carte. I have a crap ton of chapbook packs. It's basically like getting a reading like this. It's different art and numbers and poetry writings packaged together in a little envelope. They're sealed up, they're all randomized. So if you want to get a chapbook pack to help with thinking about your situation, sort of like a synchronicity stimulus packet, those are available in the catalog. That link links to my DeviantArt, where I have prints, Cafe Press, where I have merch. I have 2 coloring books on Amazon. I have a poetry book on Amazon, which is also in Kindle format. All those links and a couple other things are going to be, again, in the description box of my infomercial video, which is linked below this one. Or you can just email me. Again, that's thecatcameback@camp@gmail.com. Oh, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment if you're nasty, and check out my playlists to see a bunch of different stuff that I'm working on. Okay, bye.